Yeah, welcome to another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. And Dr. Lopkin, a lot going on. We'll start with maybe a more getting to be mundane, AOC and her controversies, and the overall controversy, which is not something that's mundane, the growing and basically kind of a very aggressive anti-Semitism in the Democratic Party. Let's start with AOC. I'd really like to pick your brains on this. I'm not that I would bias you anyway. I just want to ask you the question. I have my own views, which I'll follow up on. Her star, her ascendancy, your projection in terms of give me a 1 or 2 year outlook on this.
Oh, her star is falling quickly. Now she's gotten wrapped up in the anti-Semitism. She's been accused of being an anti-Semite by her fellow Democratic Congresspeople. And she's also now being investigated for campaign finance violations.
Because her boyfriend, I believe, wasn't it?
I don't know if it's her boyfriend. I know it's her chief of staff.
I know a campaign person. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, it's her chief of staff created business corporations so that he could funnel money from political action committees into those corporations and sort of hide what they were doing with the money. So there's a lot of investigations going on that.
Yes. So why do you think her star or ascendancy will start to ebb and eventually fail? Which I agree with, by the way. Why?
Well, first of all, every time she opens her mouth, she embarrasses the party. So
that's the biggest. Wait, hold on. Before you go, okay, it was cute, funny, new energy, but now it's becoming an embarrassment in an election year.
Right.
First of all, she doesn't know what she's talking about either.
She has no clue what she's talking about.
And as an aside, how did she ever get an economics degree from BU? That school needs to be investigated.
I think BU's accreditation needs to be removed, because when she says things, like she did on 60 Minutes, that she'd rather be morally right than factually correct. She's admitting that she doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't care if she's correct.
She isn't. She could care less.
Yeah, she just wants, the spotlight on her. She's the Kardashian effect of politicians, basically.
Well done. We should coin that. Not the political Kardashian. No question, no substance. Okay, let's talk about the big. So I agree. I think that she's not the brightest bulb. Again, we talked about on the show about the overvaluation of college degree in today's world. I believe that, as an aside, 50, 60, 80 years ago, a college degree was actually a college degree. You actually had to get in, so on and so forth. Now it's just, you got the cash, you got the whatever. I'd like to get a little comment on that. It's actually not as big as it used to be, correct?
No, the educational system has fallen apart.
But even the higher, we could talk about, public education, 9 through or your.
Oh, no, I mean college. I'm talking about higher education and colleges. It has absolutely fallen apart. More money is spent on college sports than are spent on actual academics.
Oh, yeah, no, it's more about and seeing the end, some of these end products. I think your prestigious schools are still. Getting into Harvard's no easy task.
It's no easy task, but it's also not worth the price of admission anymore.
Isn't it really? Why is that?
Over the last number of years, my company has shared information, on social media to our clients, just information good for running their businesses. When we started this, we used to take a lot from the Harvard Business Review. They haven't come out with much worth sharing in years. In fact, the only university at this point that routinely turns out good information is MIT, and that's because of their focus on technology.
What do you think's at the root cause, bro? Social justice warriors?
You've got the social justice warriors. You've got the whole whitewashing of history with, oh, we have to be politically correct, which waters everything down. And then the simple fact of the matter is higher education, when you get to the Ivy League, the big benefit was never what they were teaching you. It was the network that you got and the connections you developed.
No doubt.
That's still the case, but you're not learning anything.
Okay, I'll give you that, and especially when you look at some of the end product. Now, so AOC, we do agree with her star is basically has probably already peaked. Anti-Semitism in the Democratic Party. Ben Stein, we talked about this before we started engaging in this discussion. Basically, I heard him on a show saying that, and we talked about this on our radio show, basically questioning how any thinking Jewish person in America would still be aligned with the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I don't understand what is in it for a Jewish individual to support the Democrats. The anti-Semitism, especially in this new wave of Congress people, is over the top. The more senior Congress people seem to be almost afraid to rein them in. They were talking about putting out a resolution condemning this. They ended up watering it down, so it's just against religious, bigotry as a whole, and not actually targeting the problem, which is anti-Semitism.
Okay, and I think the higher ups, Schumer, others, a list is endless. I mean, the old guard, they are. Do you know what they're scared to death of, Dr. Lopkin? They are scared to death of going head to head with AOC or some of these others and having AOC barbecue them.
Well, I think they're afraid of that. I think more than that, they're afraid of taking them on because the wacko contingent does have a substantial following. And if they go to war with them, it will split the Democratic Party completely, rendering them unable to win an election.
That is a possibility. Now, speaking of an election, our Starbucks gentleman, he's actually seriously contemplating now a third-party candidate.
Howard Schultz is considering a third-party run. Michael Bloomberg just ruled out a run.
Yes, but Schultz actually said there's no room for a centrist in the Democratic Party right now.
Yeah, he said that a number of times, and it's true. The Democrats have pulled far too far to the left at this point.
I think he's going to do it because he has to make a statement. The Democrats have to lose this election to find Jesus, so to speak, because they are, it used to be if the other party won, I might be bummed out, going back to whatever Carter, when I was a kid, I didn't vote, but, still, oh, that sucks, whatever. Actually, I was formed until I woke up. But then now, if these Democrats get in, it's not just like an inconvenience or something you don't like ideologically. It's scary.
Yeah, we've reached the point where it's actually getting dangerous. They're overstepping their bounds. They're disappointed that it doesn't look like the Mueller investigation is going to turn anything up. So now they're throwing subpoenas around in what's essentially a fishing expedition.
Okay,
if law enforcement tried to do this, any judge in the country would shut them down.
Okay, there's some clear questions. The Attorney General, we had brain dead Sessions. Okay, he was brain dead. Okay, we have a new Attorney General. Can't he say no? We're not doing it. We're not participating. Doesn't he have the authority? This thing is basically it's the Mueller investigations coming back with essentially nothing, and they know it because they're getting inside information. It's not just in a vacuum. There's no leaks. If there was any bombshells, it would have been leaked already. It's not being leaked. So my assertion is that there's no bombshells, maybe some minor, like Roger Stone, who's a nutcase, whatever. Okay, he'll be thrown under the bus and a couple others, but there's no there. And I think people like Nader and others are going to just start launching endless investigations until 2020. And my point is, Number one, can the Attorney General put a stop to it? And number two, what effect does this have?
Okay, one, the Attorney General can't put a stop to it.
Cannot.
No, the Democrats are doing this because the committees that they now control have subpoena power. So they can issue subpoenas with no help from the Justice Department and bypass justice altogether. So the Attorney General has no ability to stop the Democrats from doing this. What he can do is fight the subpoenas in court, but there's a question as to whether or not he can even win, because again, these committees do have the right to issue these subpoenas.
Okay, so what happens? I mean, you can call up anything and might be something embarrassing. There could be.
Honestly, I think it's going to backfire on the Democrats the same way Kavanaugh did. I think people are going to look at this and go, all right, you were complaining that this wasn't really a witch hunt. Now you don't have a leg to stand on. This is a witch hunt.
Okay, now when they said a grand jury could indict a ham sandwich, okay?
Right.
Right now, if you're going to look at academics, when I was in, high school, studying, Andrew Johnson, his impeachment, and that didn't happen for 100 years later until Nixon. Basically, you can indict anyone. If the Democrats have their way, you can not indict. You can impeach a president for for anything you want, really.
Because Congress controls the definition of what high crimes and misdemeanors are, they can impeach for virtually nothing. However, they are going to have a charge that they can make stick. Even if they say it's a high crime and misdemeanor, justice can go, and it can go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court can go, that's not, because some of the things they're investigating right now aren't even crimes.
No, I understand that, but let's just play it out, okay? I don't think there's anything that's actually impeached. First of all, I think the Democrats are, again, this whole theme about being a dangerous party without a free press or a neutral press. You're jeopardizing an entire, and I was not a believer in this with the Republicans back in 8 or 99, whatever it was, with Clinton. He did not deserve to be impeached. He should have been censured, okay? He went a bridge too far. And do you know what happened at the next year's election? The Republicans got cremated.
Right. And I think the same thing is going to happen to the Democrats this time. I think it's going to backfire on them, and they'll get clobbered in the next election. Because
why do you think? Let me just say one thing, and I want your opinion on. Trump is not a politician, meaning he's a billionaire. To how many billions? That's a open-ended question. But he's a successful business person, and these politicians, they don't know anything about business, okay, or anything of international types of exchanges. So there might be some things that are a little not completely kosher, and they're going to freak out. And what is the American public going to think? That he's a swindler? I mean, he did business with Russia. He did business with people that probably weren't all that nice. Might have been business with people that oppressed women and minorities. And who knows, right?
It's possible he did business with all sorts of people. What they're going to have to face the fact, though, is that doing business with someone you don't like is not illegal. It's not a crime.
I know it's not illegal, but so you're talking about a society, though, that's been dumbed down for years and years and years. The Kardashian effect, as we call it, on Carnivore Radio, that, he did this. And, CNN, the lead story, Trump does business, or Trump had exchanges with some figure who's been tied to, sex trafficking. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know.
I don't know what they're going to come up with. I don't know what they're going to, drag out. Is it going to be enough to get Trump out of office? I doubt it. Is it enough to
I agree. I
bloody him?
with you
Absolutely.
So what happens in 2020 when all the, you can do the commercials, Donald Trump investigated for bum, 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 and how you have the hearings saying, yes, I did do business with Donald Trump, and yes, he blah, 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 or he said this, or he did. They're just going to keep this going until 2020 because they can't win an election, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, that is their goal. They are going to drag this out so that hopefully they can use it as a tool in 2020. The problem is they're not accomplishing anything. They're not getting their own jobs.
Do they have to accomplish anything?
No. I mean, other than the investigation, they have nothing
people
to
really
hang
care?
their hat. They will if Howard Schultz runs, because Howard Schultz will drag off enough votes that this won't be enough to.
What if he doesn't run?
If he doesn't run, it's gonna be tight. I think there's going to be people that will make a lot of noise about it. But here's the thing: they can run the commercials all they want. They can run it on CNN all they want. The fact of the matter is, Middle America does not consider CNN trustworthy, does not believe anything the Democrats are putting out. So unless they manage to get rid of the Electoral College, they're still going to have to convince Middle America that they can do the good job for them. And they've abandoned them.
Do you know what's very interesting about that? Electoral collegely, if there's such a word, Trump still wins. Do you know that?
Yes.
Because if you look at the polls, yes, he gets trounced in California, New York by 20 points, whatever, 10 points.
And that's why we have an electoral college, because New York and California are never going to vote in policies that are good for Iowa and Kansas and Texas and.
Exactly. So when you look at it's no slack. Personally, I disagree with you a little bit. Yes, it will be tight, but I think Trump will win because of two factors. I think that history does repeat itself, and what happened in 99, 20 years later, will happen again. Because first of all, people are sick of the Mueller. Let's end on this. Your assessment. Mueller comes up. Really nothing there. We already know that, or they wouldn't be panicking. There's nothing there. And then they do more invest. People are going to say, it came up empty and now we're having more. It's just, it's really a bankrupt party. That's really what we're looking at. A party really that is bankrupt.
And they've shown this over the last few weeks, because ordinarily, when a special investigation is concluded, the only information that is released is about people who are charged and what they are charged with. The government does this on purpose because you don't want to infer that these other folks did things bad if you cannot prove it. The Democrats are pushing for everything to be released because they want to use this nonsense that can't be proven in court to try him in the court of public opinion.
That's all there is. And I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's very interesting. Last question. This will be the last question. What do you think of the old adage, it's the economy, stupid? I think that all things being considered, I think the economy will still be relatively strong in 2020. What happens then?
The economy is still going to be strong. In fact, there were predictions today that the economy is going to be going strong into 2021.
Where'd you get this from?
CNBC had some experts on.
Okay.
Reliable. And the thing is, the people who the economy is going for, the people who are doing okay, again, it's middle America. New York, California, Connecticut, they're going to complain all over because their taxes went up because they can't deduct their high state taxes anymore. You're hearing that all over the place now, but that doesn't affect the majority of the country. So I think that for Trump, the economy is still going to push him over the top.
I think you are correct. Until next week, take care, Dr. Lopkin.
See you then.
You've been listening to Carnivore Radio's podcast. You can catch us here every week. Carnivore Radio is part of the Xvadio podcast network. You can listen to the podcast at blogtalkradio.com/Xvadio. If you want to be part of the conversation, you can listen to us live every Friday at 4 o'clock on WESU 88.1 Middletown, Connecticut. You can also catch us online at WESUFM.org. We look forward to hearing from you and see you next week.